with allegedly selling and offering unregistered securities. So this is for Gemini, which is founded by the Winklevoss twins, and Genesis. These two firms had teamed up on one of those high-interest bearing products. It was called Earn. It offered about 8% yield for customers. On the back end, they were lending that out to hedge funds, and the SEC saying that this product should have been registered as a security. Gary Gensler in a statement saying that today's charges build on previous actions to make clear the marketplace and investing public that crypto lending products and their other intermediaries need to comply with time-tested securities laws. I mentioned the Winklevoss twins here of Facebook and social network fame. Genesis, meanwhile, is a lending firm, one of the first really market makers and lenders in this space, shut down a few months ago as a result of what's happened with FTX. But one of the big lenders here, they teamed up, as I mentioned, on that interest-bearing product. These two firms have been fighting back and forth over this Earn product. But the latest here from the SEC, we've had a lot going back and forth between these two firms when it comes to this. But an action here and a statement we've got from Gary Gensler. Melissa, back to you.
Kate, it seems kind of odd. It seems like too little too late. I mean, how long has this program been going on? There were other firms that were also engaging in similar practices in terms of lending out, offering customers to lend out their crypto for a high yield return. And here we are, the SEC doing this after this program is effectively shut down.
Yeah, absolutely too little too late. If you look at, in terms of customer protection, there's now a class action lawsuit against Gemini because about $1 billion or so of customer money from Gemini is locked up in that lending product. So this does not prevent anybody from getting into the securities contract. It is sort of retroactive in this case. If anything, it seems to be a warning shot to other crypto companies that are probably already on high alert based on what's happened in the lending space. But absolutely. And I should also mention Genesis, that lending company, is also owned by Digital Currency Group, which is the same parent company that owns the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which is a publicly traded investment vehicle, GBTC. And so there's been a lot of talk about what this means.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, Gary Gensler has once again proven that he's undefeated. Gary Gensler and the SEC charges Genesis and Gemini for selling unregistered securities. And we know the Lend program, guys, we know they stopped that already. But in 2023, Gary Gensler is going to shut down a lot of these projects. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And it's going to be very interesting on how Gary Gensler and the SEC respond to staking. Now, we know the Bankman-Fried FTX was responsible for a lot of these takedowns. And guys, this was not by coincidence. There was too many big corporations behind them, and we also know what the Bankman was working on. And then, guys, we have Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos back Synchron, a brain implant just like Neuralink to control computers. And we even had Elon Musk try to do a deal with them. But guys, we have to remember when they're bringing in this technology, they're always going to give a benefit. Now, of course, with this, it's a health benefit. But we know when it comes to technology, it can be used for good or it can be used for evil. So just imagine if somebody gets control of that brain interface, then they'll be able to control you. And guys, I've told you time and time again, that is their goal. I know it sounds like a movie, but remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. A fascinating new Substack post that was just put up by FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, who's currently under house arrest, awaiting his trial on fraud and other charges. In it, he blames Binance CEO CZ for the collapse of Alameda Research and says a substantial recovery for FTX customers remains possible. It is, for those who are interested in crypto and interested in this entire saga, it's a lengthy post, goes into quite some detail about the math, makes a couple of fascinating arguments. One about customers of FTX US, saying that he believes that FTX US customers should be, quote, fully solvent and should be able to return all customer funds. One of the other fascinating notes of this is he comments on Sullivan and Cromwell, which is the law firm representing FTX in the bankruptcy. Recently, and he notes this as well, senators have raised concerns about potential conflicts of interest from Sullivan and Cromwell because they also represented FTX on some transactions earlier. And he says in this note that S&C, which is Sullivan and Cromwell, and the GC, General Counsel, were the primary parties strong-arming and threatening me into naming the candidate they themselves chose as CEO of FTX, including for a solvent entity in FTX US, who then filed for Chapter 11 and chose S&C as counsel to the debtor entities. So
a brain-computer interface is a device that's implanted inside the brain that's capable of picking up signals that enable the user to control external systems. And the term brain-computer interface is as it sounds. The initial application would be for computer control use that's completely hands-free.
Do you really see this as the future of neurological diagnosis and treatment?
I think this is an industry that's emerging with the blessing of the FDA and encouragement from the FDA. It's a promise to overcome a range of problems that can affect humans all the way from their hands to muscles to nerves to the spinal cord up to the brain, that overcomes all of that by linking up the brain to a device that enables them to interact with the world once again.
Tom, you mentioned the FDA. Talk to me about discussions you have. I think we're looking forward to a worldwide trial, potentially FDA approval down the road. Any sense of a timeline or guidance on that?
For us, we've been in discussions with the FDA for a number of years. That's involved several meetings around discussion around the clinical trial, the indication, the type of patients, so that we can structure a trial that enables the FDA to give approval within a certain cohort of patients. We have entered the clinical stage, so we can't quite talk too much about that just yet. We're looking forward to doing that soon. But I can say that the FDA has been looking at this space for a number of years. BrainGate was the initial group run by Lee Hochberg that started to investigate this, and he's been a front runner with discussing around the FDA what these clinical trials should look like. So there is some history with the FDA from an investigational and academic point of view with how we should move forward, and we've really been using that history to sort of guide us forward.
Tom,
we're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.